Welcome to Confessions by Banana Ketchup. I'm a stubborn non-believer, but even I can't explain what the hell went on. So anyone who is close to me knows how stubborn and matter-of-fact I can be about religion, spirits, ghosts, and general paranormal encounters. I don't believe in the afterlife or anything like that at all, because you can't prove it and there is no evidence of it. In fact, I have specifically said to some close friends and family of mine that if I ever had any sort of unexplained experience, that I ain't lying and that it must be true because damn, I was so far away from believing anything. Now, for my experience, it's nothing I can explain at all. There is no logical explanation at all. Me and my partner was down the bottom of his garden at about 1 AM. This was to smoke some weed in his shed. We both are occasional smokers, but take nothing else apart from this. Neither of us go off the rails or anything. We just like to relax and have a laugh. We start to walk back down his garden and into his house when I realize that his bedroom curtains are open and the light is on. I know we left it like this, but this means you can see pretty damn clearly into the room. I stop suddenly, stop and turn to my boyfriend while we were still halfway down the garden and say, "Who is in your room?" He stops to look up and you can see on his face the confusion and anger on his face because he hates people in his room without them asking. We saw two people, we believe male and female, that appeared to be adults and overweight who were jumping on his bed. His bed's headrest is against the wall with the window. Now this wasn't just jumping, but it was almost manic, arms flailing everywhere and proper bouncing. Imagine someone angrily bouncing on a bouncy castle. Neither of us discussed what we saw at the time. The only thing either of us said to each other was, "Who is in your room?" My boyfriend pretty quickly marches down the garden and goes straight into his house and upstairs without hesitation. We're both pretty careful usually about sounds because his mom is a light sleeper and gets pissed off at us if we wake her up accidentally. He wasn't even bothered about that because he was more concerned about the two grown-ass adults who were bouncing on his bed. He comes downstairs and meets me in the kitchen and said no one was there and asked me what I left on the bed as I was the last to leave the room before we left. I mentioned that there was a bottle of Pepsi, my coat, my charger and a few other bits and bobs. All of it was still there in its original place. Again, at this point, neither of us have specifically said what we've seen. All we have confirmed is that we saw people in his room. The thing and major fact that blew me away is that my boyfriend was the first one to mention they were jumping on the bed when we started to speak about it. He told me specifically what he saw, which linked up identical to what I know I saw. Now, my partner likes to mess with me occasionally, but there is no way he was lying or messing with me now. Not only could you see the fear on his face, but how would he have guessed that the two people I supposedly saw in his room were on the bed jumping? If he was playing along, it was so abnormal and strange, it would have been a 1 in a million guess, along with a Grammy for the Best Actor of 2021. We confirmed with each other about what we saw, down to the fact that the man was wearing a blue shirt and was on the bigger side. While we couldn't see their faces clearly, as we were about 10 meters or so down the garden when we saw it, we could see the key features. We make some food and try think of some sort of explanation, but we can't think of any. The television in his room was off. His mom is a light sleeper and slept through it. He has a German Shepherd who is reactive to people he doesn't know, who didn't care. The bed frame itself is old and the slats can move easily from just sitting on it. They were fine, and finally, as mentioned before, nothing in the room and on the bed itself moved from what we could remember. If he hadn't told me what he saw before I did, I wouldn't have believed him and would have thought he was just playing along to wind me up. I messaged my dad, he's a bit of conspiracy nut and loves stuff like this, at the time to explain, and he has no answer either. Me and my partner agreed between us that no one could have physically been in our room because unless they were some super speed ninjas who can escape in 30 seconds after fixing everything back into place and without making a noise, there's no way it logically could have actually happened. Neither of us have any sort of explanation or history of mental health that would account for this, and we were both visibly shaken up. I still stick to my "I don't believe in anything" stance, but this is the only thing making me question myself. I honestly feel like I'm going a little crazy because of this. There is no other explanation that I can think of. Anyone have any possible ideas or explanations? Thank you, kitaisaradish, the author. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you already haven't, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any new episodes. See you again soon, and until then, please, be safe.